This is Grafted Together with ACSI Chief Ministry Officer Jerry Nelson.
We are back with another Grafted Together. I'm excited to invite my friend Mia Lazaga back as we dive a little bit deeper into this whole idea of community development. And as I've shared before, one of the interesting things that I've seen emerge in these past few years is companies seeing themselves more than just profit generating centers, but they really look at their mission, their vision, their core values as a way to make an imprint and an impression and a difference in the community. And as I've stated before, I've had an opportunity to have a close up view of Archangel, who I believe is making a significant difference here in Miami, Florida. So Mia, hey, welcome back. I am so excited to have you back where we can dive a little bit deeper into these special initiatives that you are spearheading in Archangel. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Jerry. It's good to see you. It's always great to talk to you. I'm always grateful for the opportunity to just connect and have these wonderful conversations together. I think they bring a lot of light to what we're trying to do here and our partnership together. So just thank you. Thank you for everything that you do.
Yeah, well, hey, no problem. Thank you just for your commitment and just the energy that you bring to this. My connection, as I've said before, to Archangel, I happen to be in Philadelphia, and I met one of the co-owners, Josh, there at an event. It was at a Cape event. Found out that he was from Miami, and we struck up a conversation. And he was like, "Man, you got to come and visit." And then I met your other co-owner, Massimo, and he's like, "Hey, you need to come and have coffee." And so, and I do want to let you know, even though this has nothing to do with community development, has to do with community building. Archangel has the best coffee machine, I think, in South Florida. So I am 100% convinced of that. So you got to try the coffee.
He's very passionate about his coffee machine here. It's very good. Very high tech, right?
Very high tech. But one of the things that has really moved me and impressed me is when I visited, had an opportunity to see your entire operation and meet some of the employees there, whom I found out later you guys had trained personally at Archangel, and you had a special partnership with a school that was right down the street that afforded these young men an opportunity to learn about technology. So tell me a little bit about the history of how you got started in this program.
I'm happy to do it because it's a really fun story. So first, we had one student that was from Alonzo and Tracy Morning High School. He was kind of working, I believe he was either a junior or a senior, right? This was 2021. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm just trying to paint a picture here, right? So this is kind of like past COVID, like right past COVID time. Things were kind of tough. Everybody's kind of looking for work. And we had one student that he was coming to work in the afternoons, mm-hmm. right? And he was just putting in as many hours as he could after school, coming to work. And so they were teaching him about the computer repairs and the basics of IT. Mm-hmm. And I guess he got excited and he told some of his friends, like, hey, there's this really cool company right down the street, and we really need, some guys here to help us out, because we were getting really popular during that time, because it was difficult after COVID, Jerry, because not a lot of people had access to technology and things that were being shipped from China. They weren't being able to come across to the US. So there was not a lot of ways for schools to get the Chromebooks that they needed. And thankfully, we had a ton in stock. And so we were getting calls left and right. So a lot of these things needed to be configured. A lot of them needed to be repaired. And so coming back to the boys, right? So we had the one boy. he told his friends that he needed, that we needed help over here.
Mhm.
And he actually started by posting business cards in Sunny Isles. And it's a funny story. So this is how it starts, right? And we get another boy. He's currently our head of customer support. Another boy. He starts, they start training him on everything. And now we have two boys, right? After
And
this,
so those business cards were those business cards of opportunities to work at Archangel?
yes, yes, they
Okay.
were like, come, we need help. And they were just numbers with, I'm pretty sure it was Josh's phone number, and just we have employment opportunities, right? And so that at this point we have two, right? And after that, they were like, okay, well, we need more help here because we had so much stock and things that needed to be moved. And so they went to their computer science teacher. I'm pretty sure his name was Mr. Delanto, German Delanto. Yes. He's their computer science teacher over at Alonzo and Tracy Morning, right? And he says, hey, we need more boys to come work. Or they could be girls, it doesn't matter, but we need more people to come and help us over at this operation. And so he started letting everybody know, right? And little by little, I think we had, oh my gosh, it had to have been close to 10 boys from Alonzo and Tracy Morning at that point, right? And so they all start working here, right? They're all getting things going. And some of them have left, to work for other IT companies or to work for other repair companies. But as of right now, from the original group, one of them is our head of customer support. And the other one is our head of IT, right, here for the Miami headquarters. And so we have successfully trained these guys. They are professional men. They know how to, navigate themselves in a corporate setting. And to see them grow has been absolutely incredible. They've been here longer than I have, right? And just seeing the way that they work, I actually just had my IT head. I think you've met him before.
Yes.
His name is Brendan. He's wonderful,
yes,
right? He was just coming in here before because I was having issues on my computer before we hopped on this call. So they're honestly they're wonderful, and I'm so glad that they were able to do that. But here's where things got fun, right? After realizing, Massimo realized, okay, all of these boys are from the same school, right? And the teacher is actively supporting them. They're coming, I'm telling you, Jerry, a few hours after school, 2 hours here, 3 hours there, trying to get the work in however they could, not only to get paid, but just to have the opportunity to improve on their technical skills, right? And so Massimo said, I really want to build this up. I want to make this a real thing. And so for him, that was his soft opening to his Bridge the Distance program, right?
Okay.
And so it was a soft opening, and that's where we started with the school. And admittedly, the teacher, I've told you, has come to visit the boys on several occasions just to see how they're doing, how they're holding up. And admittedly, as of right now, we have 3 of them left that are still with us. They're still happy. They're still working for us. And the 2 of them are in IT, and the other one is our customer support. He's absolutely wonderful. Everybody always boasts on how quick his response is and how professional he is. So, that's when Massimo realized that this needed to be a reality, right? And we needed to bring this to more places.
I want to back up for a minute just to kind of highlight something that you said. And I think it's really interesting that the what was happening in COVID, and that there was a backlog, if you will, of computers that really needed to be repaired, and the people who really needed access to that technology the most, because of that backlog, they were not able to get those repairs done right away. And so it seems like this program really emerged as a response to an actual need within the community. But what I do find it interesting is that you guys took the model of training the people that were local to you. And I remember having this conversation some time ago about, well, why not go and get someone else who has more experience? Why train in-house? Because that's a lot of time, That's a lot of resources. Why go that direction?
Why go that direction, Jerry? Admittedly, because I think this comes back to our tagline, right? We at Archangel, we wholeheartedly believe in technology with soul.
Mm.
And I know that I speak not only for myself, but for my upper leadership and for all of my colleagues here when I say that technology with soul for us means love, relationship, and most importantly, it means opportunity,
Mm.
right? And giving that opportunity and investing in the local community
Mm.
and giving these students the opportunity is what makes Archangel different from the rest.
Mm.
We everything listen, and this is me being, frank with you. A lot of things in the United States are outsourced,
Mm.
right? Everything that we find is outsourced, right? How hard is it to find real people that are trying to give back to their community and
Mm.
invest in their youth, right? And Massimo knew this right away, and that's why, we started with the local high school, but that's why it hasn't stopped there, right?
Mm.
We feel that it's important to give back to where we are, right? And if we're in Miami and we see that there's a need for these boys, why aren't we going to do it?
Yeah.
Massimo is big on investment and opportunity and building relationships with people that are close to us.
And so
So,
the bridge the distance, again, kind of bring it forward,
mhm,
was it was the outgrowth of this need that you saw that emerge, and also this desire for these students, these young men, to be trained. And then,
yes,
this computer science teacher who wanted to support not only their students, but recognizing that Archangel really wanted to support them, and then
right.
that became the birth of the bridge the distance. So let's talk a little bit more about the nuts and bolts. Let's talk about a little bit more about the emergence of the bridge the distance program,
Mhm.
and what exactly goes on within the bridge the distance program.
All right. So, first, I want to start off by saying that the Bridge the Distance program is, yes, it's about putting the community together, but it's also about bridging the gap between us and the technology, right?
Mm.
Usually, a lot of people feel, I don't want to say the word threatened, but it's scary, right? Technology can be scary. It can be hard to use. Not a lot of people, they need to learn how to navigate it, right?
Mhm.
And we wanted to give, like you said, these young men this opportunity to not feel intimidated by the technology, but
Uh-huh.
to see it as a pathway to opportunity for
Right.
them. So Massimo really felt that he wanted to bridge the gap between the technology and the people. And that's why he felt it was important to give these young men the opportunity. And so what happens in the Bridge to Distance program? Now, what we do is we essentially take the kids over the summer for between 5 and 8 weeks, depending on what they're able to do and how much time they have,
Mhm.
basically. Because a lot of students
Okay.
still over the summer, they still have, other extracurricular activities they need to
Okay.
do. They still have volunteer work, right? So it's important for us to meet them where they are, right?
Gotcha.
So we take them for the 5 to 8 weeks and we let them decide whether they want to do computer repairs or IT. Most of the time, they'll rotate between both. The boys now, they work together and they'll
Okay.
rotate, right? So last summer in Miami, they were pretty much rotating between both, depending on number
Okay.
one, how many repairs we had, and
Okay.
number two, how many IT issues we were having, or if they would be able to simulate for them, right?
I got
And
you.
so, yes, and so the kids learn also, how to set up wiring, right? They learn how to configure a network. You know,
Um,
they learn about when the network shuts down, how can they put it back together.
yeah.
Listen, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm not a very technical person, but I see these kids, configuring these networks and putting these computers back together. I don't know how they do it. I
Yeah.
don't know how they do it, but it's incredible to see. And admittedly, our team is so good with them, and they learn so quickly. It's incredible.
And so the certification itself is this is when they graduate high school. Is that correct? Am I understanding that right? That
They have to be either juniors or seniors for the most part because
okay.
the A plus certification does take some time,
Okay.
right? It takes a few weeks and they still have to study, right? We train
Right.
them and we prepare them for it,
Okay.
but they still have to study, right?
Hmm.
And admittedly, there's an exam that they have to take at the end too, and
Okay.
we usually, we let them pay for that as well, just because it is quite expensive. But it's
Right.
the knowledge that's what's
Right.
most
Right.
important, right? They can choose, hey, I've gone through this knowledge, I've gotten this knowledge, I've gone through this course. Do I want to continue on this pathway for myself and my career, or do I want to, keep this in my back pocket for when I'm ready? And
Right.
that's a decision for them to make. And
Hmm.
as far as the repairs go on the hardware, that's something that, they have an opportunity to come work with us if they want to, because we're repaired by all of the major brands. Like, we're
Yeah.
certified to repair through
Yeah.
all of the major brands. And so for them, that's an employment opportunity that, I mean, you can't fake that.
And
It's just
and and what? But besides the cost to pay for the exam, what is the bridge resistance program? Are you guys funding all of this for these students who want to participate in this?
Yes, we are. So the students will come, right? In Miami and in Baltimore, we work with a nonprofit organization that helps. But most of the time, we end up paying them, even though it's a low wage. It's still an
Mhm.
opportunity for them to get their hours in, to have the experience, and they work and they learn something, and they get to decide if this is something that they want to take with them.
Mm.
But admittedly, we do fund all of our students, and for that exam in particular, we could go into that in another time, because it's very it's very intense, and
Yeah.
I'm have to bring in my IT head for that too. But it's a program. It's a few weeks, and there's an exam at the end, right? And whether or not they pass, they get the main certification, and then they can go on to work at a help desk or a support, or any basic any basic store that you work at that has to do with repairs or anything IT related, requires the certification, and
Right.
it's the first one that they would need just to
Yeah.
break out. So
You know what I find really cool about this is I remember my dad would talk about how when he went to school, they offered all types of trade opportunities.
yes,
Whether it be car repair, carpentry. I remember students that I went to, classmates that I went to school with, they went to schools like Miami Lakes Tech, and they
yes.
learned, mechanics. And I know of one individual right now who um, he's making like six figures a year, no debt,
Well,
didn't go to college, but he knows how to repair high-end vehicles, and
mhm.
he makes very good money. And we know one of the challenges that millennials obviously are feeling this, but even the younger generation is beginning to feel it now. Those who have went to who have tried college and it didn't really work out for them specifically is really the whole debt thing. Going to college and having a lot of debt, and coming out with a lot of debt and really not having a job that gives you some hard skills. That's becoming a challenge. So I think it's really cool that this feels very old school in the sense that you are providing a real life skill, one that's not going to slow down. As we know with artificial intelligence doesn't just exist in the cloud. There are hardware components that have to be repaired. There's networking that has to be done in order
Yes,
for the AI to even be able to come on or maintain online and to communicate. And so this is a generational type employable skill that you're providing to young men who probably wouldn't even see this even as a reality, and you're providing that for them.
right. And if you think about it too, it's what you said, Jerry. It's a need, right? And as our society progresses, we're going to see different needs, right?
Yeah.
You can say, we still need plumbers, right? We
Don't
still
need
need people
plumbers.
who repair air conditioning, right? And now with the computers being something that you can't go through life without your computer,
Yeah.
it's really giving these boys the opportunity to not only, like you said, take this skill with them, but also to give back to their community,
Absolutely.
right? If they decide to. We're working on a couple of really cool programs right now where, can I talk about them? Am I allowed?
Yeah. Hey, well, well, before you talk about that
Yeah,
program,
yeah.
what I wanted to just for you to touch on is just
Mhm.
get back to the Bridge the Distance program.
Yes.
I in our conversation, the initial pilot program began in Baltimore, correct? The initial, yeah, talk
Yes.
about that and how did that move to Miami?
Right. So, like I said, soft was Miami, right? Because we were
Right.
working with this local school, and that's where Massimo and, here at Archangel, we came up with a name. And then came Baltimore, right? We've been working with, it's a nonprofit organization called YouthWorks. It allows the kids to work for the 5 week period, right? They get paid, and they're usually between the ages of 14 and 21 over the summer. And it's run by the mayor's office of employment and opportunity, right? Or employment development, excuse me. All the mayor's offices have different names.
Yes.
So it's their youth section division, right? And we started this last year. So not this past summer that just passed, but the one before, actually. And we had between 5 and 7 students over there, and that's where we started with them. And they learned, like I said, all about the repairs. They learned the basics of IT. I'm not sure how many of them went on to get their certification because that was up to them in the end, but they were prepped for it. We actually had one, I remember one exceptional student that year. His name was Michael. There was actually an article written about him in this page. It was called Technically or something. I can send you the link after we're
Yeah.
done so you can look into it. So he worked with us for a little while, and so it was nice to see that through that 5 week period, these students had real growth,
Yeah.
and one of them actually came back to work for us, right? And
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
was happy, and because he enjoyed it so much.
Yeah.
And so pilot was in Baltimore, and we've been working with the mayor's office for a few years now, separately of this program. So this past summer and the summer before, we worked with the mayor's office to donate 100 Chromebooks
Hmm.
to immigrant families that didn't have access or the funds
Yeah.
for technology. And so that was something that me and my coworker Carolina just did this past summer, and it was really heartwarming to see. And there was this one, I remember this one little girl that she came up and she was like, I asked her, I said, hey, like, is this your first computer? And she's like, yeah, I didn't think I'd ever have my own, right? I never had my own before. And so it felt important for us, since we were already working with the mayor's office, working with the community and trying to help them, that number one, we were local. We needed to be local. We needed
Yeah.
to give back to the community in a way that felt more impactful, more long
Right.
lasting, right?
Right. Right.
So with the mayor's office is wonderful, and we plan to continue to do that for as long as we possibly can. Hopefully more if we grow, right? We'll be able to donate more. But we wanted to do something that was directly impacting the students, right?
Right. Right.
So our first way was through YouthWorks, right? Because through working with the mayor's office, that's where we got the idea
Right.
to work with them. And
Uh-huh.
so it's a really nice program. Admittedly, they work with a lot of different businesses throughout Baltimore, right? And it gives these kids an opportunity that they wouldn't have had before. And we're so grateful to be a part of it, right? We're so grateful to teach them the skills that we feel like is desperately necessary in the society. And yeah, and so this past year was actually the first time that we had two official internship programs running in Baltimore and in Miami at the same time,
So starting in Baltimore,
officially.
the actual official. So soft
Yes.
launch Miami with
Yes.
the gentleman that you spoke of. Then
Hmm.
you did it officially with the mayor's office in Baltimore, and
Right.
then you came and did it in Miami here. You're trying
Yes.
to do this in another place. We touched on this on our last podcast, and it's basically you're trying to replicate what you've done in terms of the programming in another place, but it's that plus much more. So talk a little bit about that, and then we'll talk about that other opportunity that's happening locally again in South Florida. So talk about, yeah.
So, well, a couple months ago there was a meeting, right? But I guess I'll start from the beginning because I get excited and I get excited because a lot of things are going on right now.
Mhm.
But right now we are set to open a new facility in Hawaii come spring of this year,
Mhm.
right? And this all came about because my upper leadership was at a meeting with ACSI, I believe it was last year,
Mhm.
right? And I remember Massimo told me that he was very passionate about hearing what the difficulties the schools are having there.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that was a huge topic of conversation for him. And if I'm not mistaken, he actually donated a panel to the school where they were at, right? And
Mhm.
that sparked a huge conversation for them. And after talking to a few heads of schools while he was in Hawaii last year, he realized that there was a huge, that they were isolated, right? And that there was a definite need to have someone local that could help, not only help them with all of their repairs and getting their technology, but also to give the students an opportunity to break out into
Mhm.
technology,
Mhm.
right? So he immediately, Massimo, and here at Archangel, we do not wait. When we have an idea, we kind of steamroll into it and we go without stopping, right? So he immediately got to work. He found a location, right? And that's it. They're breaking ground and it should be open
Yeah.
this spring. And the idea there is going to be to create this ecosystem,
Mhm.
right? Where we're working with many heads of schools in Hawaii right now to let people know that there are employment opportunities, right? That once we open up this warehouse and these offices, we need people from the local community to come and help us open this up because
Mhm.
we don't want to send people there. We want the people to see it as an opportunity for them to grow and learn new skills, right? So we have employment opportunities, and admittedly, we're also going to start the internship program there.
Mhm.
Once we have it up and running, and obviously there's a lot of logistics to be planned,
Right.
right? That need to go into it before I can bring kids into the
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
But that's the plan, and I'm Massimo and I and my coworker Carolina are really trying to get that going for them so that we can give those kids an opportunity there as well, considering that they're so isolated, right?
Yeah.
And I remember talking to some heads of schools while we were there together, actually, and some of them were asking me, I bought these things from Best Buy, but I don't know how to repair or replace. What can I do? You know, and that really hit home for me, and it made me realize that what Massimo was saying was it was a stark reality,
Right.
right?
Right.
That there needs to be someone there that can help them, that can be a resource to them, to the schools, that is close by, that they don't have to wait on, and that we can help them with whatever they need,
Because the
admittedly.
issue the issue in Hawaii obviously is its remoteness. And
Yes.
obviously folks that are not on the island. It's interesting, we were out there recently
Hmm.
and I think someone said uh it's like folks don't realize how far Hawaii is from the mainland. Like you don't really realize it. It's hard to even conceive of it on a map, but
Right.
it is 6 hours away, at least from our time zone. And
Hmm.
but it's really far away. It's not close at all. I think it's what is it, a 5.5 hour trip from by plane from California.
From
So it's
California.
right. And so when you look at it from that standpoint, What I hear is, in the same way that you were trying to solve a local problem in Miami,
Right,
you're trying to solve a local problem in Hawaii, but
right.
you want the local folks to be a part of solving the problem. It's not just let me import, a whole bunch of people that are not native. You really want to work with the folks that are native to that community, so that they can be a part of helping to build up that community and have those skills.
100%. We want to give the opportunity to them because, admittedly, if think about it, Jerry, if Archangel is going through all this for them, what is why do we need more people from the mainland? We
Right.
don't, right? The Hawaiians know what they need,
Hmm.
right? We're not here to try and assume what is needed of us, right?
Hmm.
So we want to be able to bridge that gap,
Yeah.
right, between us and between them, give them the opportunity to, have, job in technology if they want to, but also to really inform us on
Hmm.
what we can do better for them. How
Yeah.
can we help them? So it's honestly it's a beautiful project. I can't wait for it to take off. We're really excited here. There's been a lot of moving parts here on our end, just trying to make sure that everything is ready. Like having a van and making sure the space is clear and getting all the
Yeah.
parts there, and there's a lot more, it's but I see it happening. And, I've been talking to my heads of schools, and they're really excited. And we're sending flyers out, letting them know, like, hi, this is opening. We need people from the local community to help us build this up. And, if they believe in it and we believe in it, that's something that we can do together.
And you're going to train, you're from I remember our previous conversation, you're going to train the people that are interested in this. You're going to train them locally, and
Hmm.
talk about the training process, because I remember you said wherever they are, you'll you're going to pay for all of their training. So talk a little bit about that process specifically as it relates to Hawaii.
Right. So when it comes to training, right, we usually take people from the locals, but the training itself, right, you kind of have to go through every manufacturer, right?
Gotcha.
So they would have to go through every manufacturer at a time and essentially learn, first of all, like what needs to be repaired, how can it be rebuilt from each one. And
Uh-huh.
each manufacturer takes, a few weeks at a time.
Hmm.
But admittedly, the one thing that is fairly easy to repair are Chromebooks, right?
Hmm.
Chromebooks, they, other than having like a motherboard switched out, the
Hmm.
repairs are pretty simple as long as you have the parts, right?
Hmm.
So we usually start there
Hmm.
because it is the best and easiest place to start with the Chromebooks. And then we start working on, you know, things that are more complicated, right? The desktops, the laptops, the monitors, things like that. Um, but yeah, essentially they have to go through each manufacturer because they have their own sets of training videos and modules
Right.
and all these extensive things. And then once, you know, they go through that and they take all the exams, then they are certified through Archangel to repair all of these devices. And
Gotcha.
it does take time. Admittedly, we will need people to work and help us build the space up,
Uh-huh.
but as far as the repairs and the training go, that's something that we've done for our guys here,
Yeah.
for our guys in Baltimore, and I don't see it being any different for Hawaii.
Will
So
the training take place specifically on Hawaii, or where they have to do any flying to the mainland?
no,
So,
not that I know of. I'm going to be
uh
completely honest with you here. I don't think any flying needs to be done in the mainland. What I've seen through my guys here in Miami that get their
uh
certifications is that there's a lot of online courses that
okay.
they have to take, and there has to be someone there that is already certified to do all of these things to
Hmm.
walk them through
Gotcha.
and monitor them as they take the course.
Gotcha.
Um, so we might have to send some of our guys there for in the meantime, right? To make sure that they're being watched and monitored and that they're learning everything correctly. But after that, once they're certified and we have fully functioning repairs, then that's it.
Yeah. So you got Miami, you got Baltimore, Hawaii's opening up very, very soon. Um, but you aren't stopping there with your partnerships. So
No.
you've hinted at a new partnership that's developing again right here in our backyard. Talk about that a little bit.
Right here in our backyard. Wow. So where where do I start, Jerry? So we've worked with Miami-Dade College for a few years now, and we actually started working with them because we won a bid through them, right? And what's crazy about, I wasn't here when that bid was won. I came in afterwards. We had already been working with them. But from what I was told from Miami-Dade and also from my upper leadership is that, we went through the first round of the bidding process.
Right.
And what happened afterwards is that Archangel had to go do a presentation for Miami-Dade, and let them know these are the services, these are the things that we can offer. And the vice president of the foundation, every time she tells me this story, she gives me goosebumps because she says, there were bigger giants up against us, but because we were real, that's why they chose us, right? Because
interesting.
We were right in the backyard, right at home, and we gave such a wonderful presentation that they took a chance on us, right? And so that's where our partnership started. And admittedly, after that, we've been working with the Miami-Dade College Foundation for quite some time now. We do a lot of philanthropy there. And, Massimo and Josh, my upper leadership, they're very passionate. Like we've been talking about this whole time, giving back to the community. What can we do here at home? Right? And so recently, right? Well, actually, I would say this was before last summer. It was a few months before last summer. I remember I was in a meeting. I got to meet the president, Madeline. Okay. She's an absolutely wonderful lady, right? I was there with some of my other coworkers too, and they gave us a whole tour of Miami-Dade College, and we were brainstorming on ways on how we could integrate ourselves with them, right? How can we give back? And admittedly, it sparked this beautiful conversation about internships. And from there, that's how I was able to do the high school one with the kids, because they opened the door for me to let me know, like, hi, this is how you can do your internship program for the high schoolers. And so that's how I got that started. And now on a higher level, we're actually working with college students, right? We're working hand in hand with Miami-Dade College. My head of professional development, Dr. Piera Camposeo, is running this whole thing. Right. And so we have applications, brochures, everything, curriculums, everything's all laid out. And we're currently in the process of building a STEM lab right next to my office, which is right across from us, so that we can have these kids come in and they have a few different paths that they can take, right? So there's sales and marketing, there's accounting, and there's the IT and the repairs, right?
Sales and marketing, accounting, IT, repair.
Yes, the IT and repair, we had to put them together because we're not sure how many college students will be able to take to start, but essentially it's a huge project that we're working with them, and we're in constant communication with them every single week, almost every other day, taking calls, right? Me and Dr. Camposeo, we just posted the applications, I believe it was last week, for the students, and we're already getting applications rolling in. And so this is a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for these students.
And so for our listeners, Miami-Dade College is one of the, I don't remember the current enrollment numbers, but
it's about 100,000 students.
It's like 100,000 students, which puts them as probably the largest in Florida. It's not a university, but it is a college. So it's about 100,000. I believe they have 5 to 6 campuses. They have medical. They just opened up a justice center that focuses on law. I saw that recently. So this is a very well resourced, very well connected college.
Yeah.
And in fact, one of the fun facts that I love to share with folks about Miami-Dade College, just really highlighting the significance of this partnership, is it's very rare that a sitting president goes to a college, but President Obama did the commencement address in 2009. I remember
Yes, he
at
did.
the at Miami-Dade College, and I believe that was in conjunction with them announcing the American Dream Scholarship that Miami-Dade College was offering at that time, which in of itself was just super innovative. So just I just wanted to highlight that for our listeners. This is not some local community college that has no
No.
significance within the community. This is really a well-resourced, well-known college within South Florida that's doing amazing things.
And admittedly, Jerry, too. So I really want to bring this full circle too, right? So they have the 100,000 students. They
Mhm.
actually have 8 campuses.
Oh, okay, so eight.
8.
I knew I had my numbers off.
They're spread all through. No, and it's not to correct, but it's just they're so huge, right? And they have campuses. They're all spread out through Florida. And they also, I don't know if you know about this, but they just opened up an AI track, and they have AI labs on
Wow.
some of their campuses, right? So I know Wolfson has one. I believe North has one too, because I've been running around with meetings
Right.
for them, so I've seen them in person. And they also have a cybersecurity track and a cybersecurity lab where they
Um,
simulate hackings, and they teach the students in real time
oh,
how
wow.
to work through them. I'm not a
Right.
technical person. I don't know anything about hacking, but I got to see firsthand some of these labs that they've built up. And admittedly, the president, Madeline, she has some wonderful initiatives that she's doing for the college, and we're just so grateful that she's willing to work with us, and that we're able to work with them and give their
Yeah.
students this
Yeah.
wonderful program on a higher level, because what we've seen is it's really hard to break into technology.
Mhm.
And a lot of the times these big tech companies, they won't hire unless you have experience, but it's really hard to get experience if you're not being hired,
Yeah.
right? And so we honestly believe that internship programs are the best way, for their students to get their feet wet. And I also want to point out that our internship program is going to be at the ISO standard, right? So
Mhm.
everything we do here at Archangel is through an international standard of quality
Mhm.
and safety, right? So we have those two certifications. One of them is the 9001, which
Right.
has to do with our quality standards and management and making sure that everything that we get out the door before it goes to the customer or our partner is perfect,
Mhm.
right? And then also the 27001, which handles the safety of data,
Mhm.
right? So these students are going to be now working in an environment not only that is, corporate and technological, but also at an international standard. And they're going to learn how to navigate themselves in a professional setting. And it's going to give them skills and opportunities that they may not have even seen before, because to be at an ISO level is difficult,
Mhm.
right? And I'm talking there are companies that have to be at an ISO level, and they deal with airplanes,
Yeah.
mechanics, things that they're
Right.
huge, and
Right.
we can go into a whole other conversation about that. But I felt that it was important to note that for these college students, they're going through this at a high level,
Yeah.
you know. So it's a great opportunity for them, and we're really excited.
I know our conversation is about community development and we've talked considerably about, the programs that you have put into place, your desire to solve for local issues, your desire to give folks an opportunity. Every organization has its challenges, right? Nothing is as great as it appears. Um, and we've had those conversations. Things are struggles, right? Whenever you're trying to grow anything and establish anything new, there's always a struggle that goes into that. And what I've noticed about this generation of students, they really want to work for it's not just about the pay. They really want to work for an organization that cares about them. And you really highlighted well, I think some of the differences that you guys are trying to be intentional about is really caring about the individual. But I love for you, as we kind of close out our time here, why should students invest their time in getting training with Archangel? Why should school heads partner with Archangel? When they go to partner with you at Archangel, will it be that you're saying all of these great things, but they get something different? Why? What's the pitch?
So honestly, I feel like this goes back to a lot of the things that you and I have already talked about, right? We aim to be a resource and a pillar in the communities that we want to serve, right? Working with you guys and all the schools, I know for myself, and I speak for myself when I say that, I know that it's God's work to be of service to others. And I really I want everybody to know that here at Archangel, we believe in the investment of our youth, right? This is not just about, selling computers or panels or whatever. That's not something that I deal with, right? What I care about is making sure that our future generation has the opportunity in technology, because the technology is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Right? We aim to connect communities and nurture the growth of their youth. Yeah. And so if heads of schools are curious, I invite them to come talk to me, to call me. I can give them more information on the program. I'm very hands-on with the things that I do. Everybody here at Archangel is very, very hands-on. And we want to shine a light to these problems, and we want to bridge the gap. And so I say to them, if you're interested, talk to me. Come talk to us, because we're here for you. We're here for you.
Well, Mia, I want to say, thanks again, and again to our listeners. I really don't bring on people into this podcast that I don't think will add significant value to your ears and to your life, but also really highlighting some really amazing things that I think that we can really pattern after. And Mia, I just want to say from a lifelong educator, it is really a blessing to see an organization that is focused on developing the youth, giving them an opportunity, and that you're putting your resources and your energy behind not just selling a product, but really trying to build individuals and build people up so that they can build up their community. So thank you, Mia. I really appreciate you.
And I appreciate you, Jerry. And every time we get to talk, I think it's wonderful. And admittedly, starting with Archangel it's been an honor and a privilege to be able to work with these communities and to work with these students. And so I pray every single day that I can continue to be of service here and that I can do some good for our students. So thank you, Jerry, for everything that you do.
Awesome. So again, as Mia said, if you want to reach out to Mia and Archangel, we'll have all the information at the bottom in the description here. All right, until next time, this is Grafted Together with Jerry Nelson. Take care.
Grafted Together is a presentation of the Association of Christian Schools International. Learn more about biblical worldview and spiritual formation at acsi.org/graftedtogether.